Hi everyone. So I thought for the short talk I'm about to do, I'd bring you to my studio and show you a body of work that I'm currently making and that I showed about a year ago at Standpoint Gallery in London. This is a body of work which was shown entirely on the floor, just elevated from the floor, and comprised of about 30 sheets of laser etched, drawn and stained paper. So the work is based around history and time and memory, and I'm currently working with scientists at the Natural History Museum and examining particles of dust that I've collected from my father's old family home, which is right in the centre of Hamburg in Germany. And I'm really interested in how dust can talk about time and material and, I guess, inevitable mortality. So this work really is about how dust settles, it suffocates, it muffles, and it's this stuff that really is quite incomprehensible. And I guess as an artist, that's what I'm interested in, making work around, something quite complex. So I'm going to just go into this in a little bit more detail then and talk about why I've made the work in this way using paper, why I presented it in this way, and what excites me about the particular qualities of paper. As you can probably see, I think half of my studio contains rolls of paper of work that I've made. It's either rolled or in a plan chest. And I think that's because I've come through as an image maker. My specialism's in print and drawing, photography. Everything ends up working on paper, and the first question that I ask myself is what kind of paper I'm going to use. And a lot of it is sort of extreme, so really delicate paper that's about fragility, or a lot of the time I use this is a 300 GSM Somerset paper, which I love for the qualities that it's you can get very, very, very dense graphite surfaces, but it's also a digital paper. So these are a set of work that I made where one side was a digital image and then the whole piece was covered at the back with graphite, and then the work was folded and refolded and folded again and again. And there are a few of these that sort of hang on the wall. And I love the way that paper can hold all sorts of images, from an etching to a pencil mark to a digital image to a thick tactile surface. So once I decided what kind of paper I wanted, and I was choosing, this is 300 GSM Somerset paper, I etched the images as big as I could onto the surface, and then began to think about, rather than just white paper, how I could push the image back and manipulate it. And I was thinking about that notion of science, how science can generate an image, but art can generate a different kind of image through tactility, touch, materials and processes. So I smothered the entire surface with graphite ink, rubbed graphite ink into it, and what I didn't expect was that the image would appear on the other side. So the ink soaked through the laser etch. Where the laser etch was quite deep, it came through more, and obviously there created a tonal image underneath. So this was something really unexpected that emerged just through the process of wanting to take away the white surface of the paper. So that was a fundamental shift in how the work moved forward, in considering the etch to be on the surface, the image to be on the surface, but also underneath the surface, within the surface, and really activate the entire sheet of paper as the piece of work. So no longer an image sitting on it, but actually in it, on it, under it. And then I was also rubbing graphite pencil and drawing around the image to isolate the image from the background. And I made lots of these sheets, and still making more, and each one is different according to how the image is etched into the surface. Some become very, very delicate, that almost fall apart. But what I like is this fragility of the paper, the strength, and also simultaneous fragility. Each sheet is different. Each sheet I can handle. I can flip and touch and roll, and they start to have a conversation with each other, where image folds back on each other. As I was working with this, these sheets, that I began to almost think about them as pages, that we can flip these back and look image against image. And the rubbing and the touching of this is key to how I think about making work and to this work. And there is some key writing by Henri Fosselon, historian, who talks about the artist that touches, that feels, that reckons weight, measures space, moulds the fluidity of atmosphere to prefigure form. He caresses the skin of all things. And I think that's something that's key for me as an artist, that I want to connect with how I engage with the world through touch, through weight, and paper can do this. Every sheet of paper is different. And I think what's emerged as really important that paper can do is that it can hold the image in different ways. You can draw onto it, you can print onto it, but then you can obviously now etch within it and under it and combine languages just through the qualities of paper. And then we can start to form it and think about sculptural elements as this work starts to do.